Hi, I'm Rick Lunn. One of the things, behaviors that we develop over time, and I don't think age ever takes away from it, is getting a surprise, getting something that we, in a package, and nobody will tell us what it is. And anyway, fishermen are really guilty of that because nowadays with all the internet and Amazon and all this kind of stuff, we get a lot of packages and from our sponsors and other companies, and they have some secret bait in there, and that's always, you think, we're always looking for that secret lure. And anyway, I've got one from 6 Cents, and I'm really anxious to see what it is. So, frog. This bait has such a history. And in fact, we just recently had a Bass Fishing Hall of Fame event here a few weeks ago. And the person who really introduced the frog to fishing was inducted in the Hall of Fame. His name is Alfred Williams. He's from Rossbarn area in Mississippi. I became aware of him in the late 70s. And the one thing though that really stood out about him was that most fishermen have a style that kind of, they get to be known for. And he was maybe a spinnerbait or a crankbait, and Denny Bryer and them were jigs and stuff like that. He was known for a hollow belly frog. And most people even back then didn't even know what it was. The one he fished was a snagless Sally. And it was one of the first hollow belly frogs that came out. And you see these little legs that come out behind this, and it's like a spinnerbait skirt that comes out behind them. Alfred actually cut off the snagless Sally had stiff legs, little rubber stiff legs like you'd see on a regular frog. He cut them off, and then he drilled holes and cut the spinnerbait skirts off and put this in for their legs, just like you see now. This was in the 70s. So now the bait is still evolving. And gosh, nowadays they look so lifelike. And the hooks on them are so much, better. And the placement of the hooks, and I can even see this already with this 6 Cents, and they're calling it a hush frog.
Why don't you actually open one up, and that way we can get a better look at it.
But let me take one of these frogs apart. I'm gonna get one of these pretty ones, because everybody has their favorite colors, and that's really something about confidence. And what you see in the evolution of the bait is, and one of the hardest things with the early frogs was setting the hook on, because it was basically a topwater. And the hook placement on them was really not understood. But you can see, look at these little rubber legs on it, that nowadays almost all of them come with those rubber legs. But the placement of the frog is, everybody thinks you fish it in lily pads. And back then, Ross Barnett was full of lily pads, and that's what Alfred mostly used it. But over time, a lot of the other anglers that came kind of kept it a secret, but it was really good in any shade pockets that you could find along the bank. Usually from the middle of the day, when you had that little tiny shade under an overhanging bush or something. And if you notice how easily these push in, well, the hooks are weedless, semi-weedless, but when the bass inhales it and crushes that holly-bodied frog down, then you're going to hook him. And you're using it on heavy line and braid, and like my new, rod that I have out with 6 Cents, that heavy action rod, you've got to have it to pull the fish out of those thick weeds at times. But this is really a beautiful frog. Another key for me, what nowadays everything evolves, is that big fish have been coming in. If you're fishing at a high level nowadays, in tournament fishing, of course, and even if you're not in tournament fishing, we all want to catch the big ones. This is a big fish, lure. And I can't wait to use it.